Will Israel take control of all of Gaza?
We intend to, in order to assure our security, remove Hamas there.
Israel has announced a bold plan to seize full military control of Gaza City, escalating its conflict with Hamas. The government claims this is the only way to dismantle Hamas's command structure and secure the release of hostages. Critics warn the move could trigger a humanitarian disaster in one of the world's most densely populated areas. The plan follows months of failed ceasefires and rising violence, with Israel insisting previous strategies have failed. Now the world faces a critical test. Can Israel achieve its goals without inflicting massive civilian suffering? The coming days will reveal whether this gamble reshapes the region or deepens the crisis. The world is watching, and the stakes could not be higher. Israel's military plan begins, a multi-phased operation designed to achieve specific strategic objectives. It's a complex undertaking, fraught with challenges and potential pitfalls, but one that Israeli leaders believe is essential for their nation's security. It starts with mass evacuation orders, a large-scale displacement of the civilian population. This involves pushing hundreds of thousands of people south, creating a massive humanitarian crisis as families are uprooted from their homes. They are directed to so-called humanitarian zones, areas designated as safe havens, though their capacity and safety are constantly questioned by international observers. The stated aim: clear civilians from the combat zones, minimizing potential casualties during the next phase. Then, launch a targeted ground assault, a maneuver designed to penetrate deep into enemy territory. The goals are to rescue hostages held by Hamas and to destroy Hamas's leadership and infrastructure, dismantling their ability to launch future attacks. Officials promise a precise intelligence-driven operation, relying on detailed information to minimize collateral damage and target specific threats. But urban warfare in Gaza's crowded streets, with its dense population and complex infrastructure, presents immense challenges. This makes ensuring civilian safety nearly impossible, raising serious concerns about the potential for widespread casualties. Israel insists this is not a permanent occupation, repeatedly stating its intention to avoid long-term control of the territory. They are pledging to withdraw once objectives are met, once Hamas is neutralized and the hostages are freed. The plan is to then hand governance to a new Palestinian Authority, one that is deemed capable of maintaining security and stability. Yet skepticism abounds. Many question the feasibility and morality of the operation. Can civilians evacuate safely, and will humanitarian zones hold under the strain of a massive influx of refugees? The plan's success depends on a series of risky assumptions about the behavior of both Hamas and the civilian population, any of which could fail with devastating consequences, leading to a humanitarian catastrophe and further destabilizing the region. The world is left questioning, watching with bated breath as the situation unfolds, whether this blueprint can deliver security and lasting peace, or unleash further chaos and suffering in an already volatile region. The international community has reacted swiftly and with considerable concern to the unfolding events. The United Nations, along with numerous world leaders, are warning of a looming humanitarian catastrophe of immense proportions, urging immediate action to alleviate suffering. The scale of the potential crisis is prompting calls for aid and intervention. Inside Israel, public opinion is deeply split. Some view the operation as absolutely essential for national security, a necessary measure to protect its citizens, while others express profound fear and anxiety for the lives and well-being of the hostages held in Gaza. In Gaza, the situation is dire, with residents describing scenes of widespread terror and utter despair, doubting the assurances of safe zones and living in constant fear of permanent displacement from their homes and communities. Neighboring Arab states have issued strong condemnations of the plan, reinforcing their borders with increased security measures and issuing stark warnings about the potential for wider regional instability. Diplomatic ties with Israel are showing signs of fraying under the strain, as even those nations that were previously moving toward normalization are now putting those delicate relations on an indefinite hold. The world's widespread alarm and concern truly reflects the gravity of what is at stake here, not just for the immediate future of Gaza and its people, but for the stability and security of the entire Middle East region. This crisis is severely testing existing alliances and partnerships, further dividing societies across the globe and fueling a pervasive sense of uncertainty about what the future holds. The evacuation order has created a humanitarian nightmare, Overcrowded shelters, dwindling food and water, and collapsing medical care. Hospitals can't move their most vulnerable patients, and aid agencies warn of imminent starvation and disease. Urban combat threatens civilians trapped in the city, with airstrikes and artillery making casualties inevitable. Infrastructure is crumbling, plunging Gaza into darkness and chaos. Even after the fighting, hundreds of thousands could be left homeless, with little hope for rebuilding. The trauma and displacement risk fueling future extremism, perpetuating the cycle of violence. The humanitarian crisis unfolding today could shape the region's fate for generations. Israel contends that dismantling Hamas is the only viable path to securing its future and ensuring the safe return of the hostages currently held in Gaza. This is their stated objective, the justification for the immense operation underway. But the risks associated with this strategy are enormous, presenting a complex and multifaceted challenge. Prolonged and intensified fighting carries the potential to cost a staggering number of Israeli and Palestinian lives, exacerbating an already dire humanitarian crisis. Furthermore, such a conflict could erode public support for the operation, both domestically and internationally, and tragically endanger the very hostages Israel is so desperately trying to save. Even a successful military operation might leave Israel with the daunting responsibility of governing a devastated Gaza, a prospect fraught with challenges. This could lead to facing widespread global condemnation for the actions taken, and the potential for a much broader and more destabilizing regional war. The conflict has the potential to widen significantly, drawing in other powerful actors and militant groups like Hezbollah, escalating the crisis beyond its current borders. This escalation would directly threaten Israel's own cities and civilian populations, bringing the war home in a devastating way. The diplomatic fallout from the conflict is already placing a significant strain on Israel's ties with key allies around the world. Furthermore, it is halting the progress that had been made in normalizing relations with Arab nations, setting back years of diplomatic efforts. The entire world is watching with bated breath, waiting to see if this high-stakes gamble ultimately brings a lasting peace to the region, or if it tragically plunges the already volatile region into an even deeper and more intractable state of chaos and instability. The ultimate outcome of this conflict will undoubtedly echo far beyond the confines of Gaza itself, with repercussions felt across the globe. It will play a pivotal role in shaping the future trajectory of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the broader geopolitical landscape of the entire Middle East for generations to come.